Yeah, definitely different. So. Pencil shading is a different thing because you're basically using the same line and the same weight of pencil in different ways to get different weights and different densities of shadow and stuff like that. And some people would say it's limiting, but in truth it can be nice to have a more limited palette to work with. Like I mentioned before, I never use I need some more index cards. My son has been using, I've got like hundreds of index cards, and he's used all of them for things. He's made stuff with them, he's drawn on them. He keeps coming in for more and more index cards, and now I'm out again. I mean, I buy them bulk practically. I have a pretty light touch on this stuff, so something over the years I've gotten better at not smearing things. I mean, the more you smear, the more you gotta clean it up. And sometimes you can't help, but with pencil, even just your fingernail rubbing it on pencil can cause it to smear if you work it enough. And a lot of times when you rework one area a lot, that can definitely be a problem. When it comes to color, I avoided color for so many years. I still don't have color theory down or anything like that. Mostly just observation. And that's the one nice thing about working with the Copics is that it may seem limiting to only have a limited selection of colors to work with, but if you can mix them, I mean, it just gives you a framework to work with them. And I can do more with it that way, as opposed to being able to choose any one of millions of colors, and you find yourself sort of at a loss when you have just one or two colors in a range to pick. You find yourself more able to work with it. The only thing this is different. That was Yakugashi that I had to complete her sleeve. But drawing Yuki is a pain because she's got dark hair. She's a magical girl. Largo's got her wearing all dark colors. So every time I put her in a comic, I got like a shitload of shading to do. And when she's flying about, her pigtails are always going in all sorts of different directions. And each one of those needs to be shaded properly. And as far as my shading method goes, this kind of directional hatching thing that I do, I actually picked that up from a professor when I was in architecture school. He actually used straight edges to draw, to literally just draw in all the hatching and the shading on buildings, drawings and renderings. And that's sort of where I picked up the idea from. Or over time I've dropped the straight edges and I just do it by hand. But it's basically the same method. A lot of people who work with graphite they'll do something similar, but then they'll smudge and they'll kind of create shadows using a smudging effect. That sort of doesn't work for me for some reason. I don't like the way that looks. It always looks unfinished. Because the contrast between these supposedly, because I mean it's lines is what I'm drawing. I mean, I'm not working with shaded areas, and I'm not explaining that right. A lot of times when people draw or they use graphite, they're actually drawing shapes. I mean, I don't draw shapes, I draw lines, and then I sort of fake volumes by filling in and shading. So that's why sort of a smudgy approach doesn't really work very well. Using, a multitude of lines to create that look helps. When I was creating the Photoshop equivalents to some of this work, it's interesting because for shading, for the longest time I could not get it to work to look even close to the way that my pencil shading did. And what I did is I created a layer style that I was able to copy in that would actually add some noise in between the lines and around the lines, so that it was like there was graphite powder that was falling in between the lines, because that's sort of what happens when you're doing the multiple shadings of lines. The whole drawing with thin lines. I can't remember where the quote comes from, but there are no lines in nature, just thinly defined areas of shadow. So, I mean, the whole way, this whole type of drawing is actually fairly farcical, if you really think about it. Imagine, I don't know if anyone did computer 3D programming back when I did it back in the 80s. I never really did work with volumes, or I did sort of planar stuff where, like in AutoCAD, you'd actually make a solid by making the planes. You'd make a cube by making 6 sides. And I mean, I didn't have volumes. You can do cutaway stuff like that you can do these days. I mean, it's sort of a little bit like that. I used to make 3D models by literally assembling wireframes with planes. And this is another reason why listening to me ramble while I do this is mind-numbing. Not easy. And you can see why I hate Yuki here. It's such a complicated. Now, in more traditional manga approaches, when they use ink, doing black hair usually it's all inset, solid, it's inset. Well, the way I do it, I have to draw multiple lines to get the shading process. And this is just the base shade, and then I have to go back and provide the shadow. So usually it's pretty decent on this time. course, one other problem when you're hacking too is you'll notice that this line here, when I fade over this differently, the line will actually sort of disappear. Okay. I'm just going to go and work with mechanical pencils. I know this says 0.5mm, but you're not really drawing with 0.5mm. 0.5mm would be that's the lead thickness. But that line, this line is never actually 0.5mm. It's more like, you know, it's more like an angle of that, which is going to actually be thicker than 0.5mm. Or what you do with your most of the time you're doing your constantly turning the pencil as you're drawing to keep the line sharp. And that is how you get a pretty sharp point. Of course, the problem is that, you know, you sort of want this for shading and something in between for drawing. That's how you control your line weight or line width with these mechanical pencils. Oh, see, I'm trying to match, like for instance, notice the gap in her hair there. Sometimes you don't know what's fill and what isn't. Yeah, what I usually end up with when I do stuff is I end up with a pencil drawing, pencil version, and I can't, you know, you can't use Copics with pencil because I'll show you what happens when you use pencil with Copics. You're what? You got a wiggly tooth, bud? Let me see. Now, show you what happened. Your tooth is wiggly, huh? Oh, which one? Let me see. Oh yeah, let me see. Oh. They're wiggling, I like it. Oh, that's totally wiggling. That's the baby tooth that's going to be coming out, man. Wow, it's been a while, huh? Well, don't mess with it too much, okay? It'll come on its own. And he's gonna... another tooth. So. How are you now? Alright, you want to watch the Formula One? That's not a great example. But you can see what happens with the pencil lines. They start to smear. They smear real good. That's because the pencil lines they're somewhat soluble. So what I do is I scan them, and before I shade them, I'll scan them in the computer, and then I use, I print these out on, this is just Epson, super premium matte photo paper, and the pigment inks on my Epson printer work really well. The Copic doesn't dissolve those at all. So in the end, I end up with the original pencil drawing and a colored rendering. It's also nice too. I mean, if you screw up the rendering, usually I just have one color version. What is it, Jack? Well, no, because they never really were able to go very fast. Or were they? Alright. Well, I didn't record that, Jack. We didn't let that race. Yeah, somebody did. They raced half that race and let it over. Alright, anyway. Back to whatever it was I was doing. One problem with analog stuff like this is frankly, there's a lot of humidity in the air, so what happens is that the paper will absorb humidity. I mean, I got the air conditioner on, but it was cooler today, so what can happen is that the paper gets a lot of humidity in it. It makes it a little harder to get the darker lines on there. The pencil just sort of rides on top of everything. This paper's nice. Not getting the line density I want. It's actually rhythm. And I swear, sometimes there are inconsistencies in the lead. Sometimes the lead will be a little denser than you're used to for some reason. And you almost sort of got to chew through a portion of it to get the lead that behaves more like what you're used to. I mean, it's mostly consistent, but every once in a while, and sometimes you can't tell the paper. And you know you're being an insufferable fop when you start obsessing over about minute details and lead density, for fuck's sake. So by being able to darken and adjust your gradients and your shadows a little bit, you can get a much deeper three-dimensional effect. It's different from the pencil. Why did I draw Yuki in this outfit? Oh. Hey Jack, are you hungry? Hey Jack? Jack? Are you hungry? Okay. I actually made a really big lunch not that long ago, so. I think I popped the muscle again. So travel mode. So a lot of times you get smooth. You think about the process of what you're doing. You know, it's not like you're able to communicate anything. You're just applying it. And you put someone's ass and you start thinking about it. And you're like, oh yeah, that's why I do it this way.
Ready, set, go.
What? What? Did you leave the car underneath that? Can you reach underneath and get it? Where did it go to? Why don't you just leave it for later, okay? I'll have to pull it out. I'm sorry if there's quite a bit of me talking to Jack while I do this for some reason. Usually scare you guys. I mean, while I'm working, I'm usually, often like times like right now, Sarah's at work, I'm watching Jack while I work, so, which often involves talking to him. Right now, I think he's probably wondering why the hell Dad's talking to him.
Yes, here we go.
One nice thing about pencil level is I don't need to worry about choosing particular shoes each day. It's just is a different issue. Often when you don't have color involved, it really does come down to texture. So I try to get different textures in my when it's appropriate.
Everybody make it. Just Cleon's missing.
Fuzz must have got him.
Did you see him get busted?
I seen him, then he wasn't there no more. I was hauling ass.
Okay, what are we gonna do now?
We're going back.
You're not telling us now. Fucking Coney Island must be 50 to 100 miles.
It's the only choice we got. Yeah, real simple. Except that any cop in this city's looking to bust our heads.
We got something else to think about.
Yeah, what?
The truce. Is it still on?
If it ain't, we're gonna have to bop our way back.
Shit, I wish we was packed. If this truce is off, anything could hit us between here and the train. If you get separated, make it to the platform at Union Square. That's where we change trains.
I only got one question. Who named you leader?
Oh yeah, that's probably on. Good memory. Yeah. 1 second. opportunity. Jack wanted to watch the NASCAR truck series or something. Yeah, cool. He's like so into racing, it's ridiculous. Yeah, but they'll work something out. What's the matter, Jack? I have no idea. What's wrong? I don't know. There's no one watching it. Maybe I'll just shade it back here a little bit. We'll see how it balances out. A lot of times you really can't get a sense for these. So you do more.
Let me spin that fucking turntable, Tanuki. Yeah, I am your DJ. Take your fucking blood pressure. Cross the techno is 100% pure. 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, here we go.
Sometimes it flattens out too much. Yeah, the paper with the scribble on it is pointing. You know, if you get a little bit of something underneath the paper, it'll show. There's a little bit right there that shows through. Yes, Dad. Your what? Sometimes, you'll have from one direction for one thing, and then you'll have from another direction for contrast, even if you've got the same sort of weight going on. So sometimes you do it have to rest in different directions. One thing I rarely ever, and I just don't use them, is I don't even know where my large 0.7.9mm pencils are. I use them so rarely. I know it seems like pencil rendering should be something that's much quicker than coloring, but I swear sometimes I think it takes longer to actually pencil render something than it does to color it. Especially if there's a lot of hash in it. It can actually take longer to hash properly. When I was in high school, or undergrad, I was thinking about the possibility of studying architecture, and I remember just sort of arguing with myself, you can't even draw a straight line. And actually, I got a pizza place, and I actually tried drawing straight lines, I couldn't do it. Practice over the years. Now I can. I mean, probably not noticeable here, but as I'm doing it, I'm not going like this. I'm drawing lines like this. I'm actually picking up the pencil and then turning. So all these lines, I'll start here and then here. And then I pick up. So I draw it, and then I'm picking up and going, so all the lines are consistent. If you're going back and forth, you're going to have, those are, you notice that it's a little heavier on one side than the other. The start and finish of the lines is different. So when I'm doing this, I'm one-way printing as opposed to duplex, printing both directions or hashing both directions. Just gives you slightly better control.
I'd like to do some cocaine. I'd like a drug that makes my nose bleed. I'd like to do some cocaine. What a great drug. I'd like to do some cocaine. I'd like a drug that makes my nose bleed.
the outer panel.
Please.
This type of shape on a lady's dress or vest or whatever, it's a very slimming type of vest. You'll see it actually is not uncommon in the cut of the dress or cut of the top. Especially if you take trips with light and fatty on dropper on the side panel. Works really well for sportswear like this. Sort of to get away with it. Not that Yuki needs anything particularly slimming. But this is actually based on an actual more distinct vest. Actually, all this outfit is based on actual clothing. Except for the rules for One problem with pencils is once you get to a certain sharpness, a certain density with the line, it's a little hard to get it sharper. Like if you overdo it a little bit, it's pretty hard to get more subtle shadows. And trust me, at this level of shading, it's kind of hard to place stuff. Get the whole town off of I do all this with one weight of, this is all HP left in both pencils. girl armed with a duct tape. Okay. Oh, you're gonna. Now, of course, for some of the more subtle stuff that they do with these stupid things, whether it's a pencil or if it's a Copic, it's only, a lot of it doesn't even really get caught in that scan. It's only really visible if you look at the original, which means it's rather pointless. But I think it shows to some extent. Okay. Passing the face is always problematic. I can have straight lines in a lot of places. Like a band can be a little mess.
Won't you come with me?
Not really the same.
Won't you come with me?
It's the same drawing, but they look different. Sometimes I can't decide which I like better. That's the pan. There's like a limit to the size of the area that I can have effectively. I mean, this was a about, this is good, but you get in an area that size and you have to, it's like there's maybe a couple inches of hatching that works really well. Oh, why am I redrawing it? I'm not redrawing it. Basically, let's see here. Sort of works like this. I have an original drawing that I did not save. You notice there's no replicating on this. This gets scanned in, and then I print that out in black and white on some matte paper, and then I use my Copic to colorize it. So this is all hand colored. And then once it's done with that, much like this one, I'll go back and actually pencil shade in the original, so I end up with two drawings that are, one's colored and one's rendered. So there's kind of two originals there to start with. And if that sounds really stupid and insane, it probably is, but it's one method of doing things. And it works. Usually get two distinct finished pieces of art for each drawing. Yeah, I think the largest area that it's used, now in this case I am going back and forth. For the larger areas, I will actually go back and forth to cover it, as opposed to just lifting my pencil and going back. It's easier to, it has to do with control. I don't know why one works better. The small areas doing single lines. Probably most of there's more play in larger areas. Also, you want to sort of get the colors faster. Don't need to see that. Trouble with what working on the lower parts you're doing. Hey Jack. Hey Jack. What's going on? Oh, okay. We're gonna have to leave in about 15 minutes, okay, bud? Can you get your shoes? Yeah, oh, I think I know what I was talking about. I can be a lot looser with some of the detail work on, like for shoes or for legs or hands, but you got to be very careful with the face because the human mind is very sensitive to whatever little bits of stray lines you might have in the face. So this always has to be fairly clean, as opposed to like with the hands. You know, things are a little bit, you get some stray lines and things aren't perfect. Your mind's a little more forgiving. Mine sort of has to be a little forgiving to deal with like the faces of my characters to start with, but that's a whole nother matter. I think this is kind of the DJ next. PA set. What is this over here? No, yeah. Kind of deep. Sometimes you have to flip and go the other direction if you're going to do any contrast darken, because if you're just darkening up lines in one direction, sometimes it doesn't really show. Sometimes this is not the best approach because you don't want to add that kind of a crosshatch texture sometimes. The other thing about hatched areas is they're much more susceptible to smearing than just the general lines. You have to be a little bit more careful. It's always better to start. You notice I started at the top and work my way down. Hey, Jack. What are you doing? I'm not talking to you. Hey. What? No. What? What do you want? You've had 4 cans of food today. There should be no room left in there for food. Really? So what do you want? Come on. Really? You gonna bite me? What you gonna do? No. Hey. What? Ow! Ouch. That hurt? Yeah. Hey. Okay. Hey. You need to get off my desk. You're just gonna slide off now. Yeah. Okay. No. Come on. Okay, well, I actually have to get going here